The induction's just a few days away, but I want to go back to the day you got the call. I love these stories. I always find them fascinating. What was that like for you? Were you someone who was waiting by the phone, or was this one of those where you're like, who is this? I don't know this number. I'm not answering this phone.
Well, too funny. I mean, Liam, you know, as a parent, I feel like a lot of focus is on your kids at times. So I was actually at my parents' cottage, and I was out on my dad's boat with my kids and my husband having a visit with my parents. And so eventually they had to track down my husband, Adrian, and said, make sure that Jen gets on her phone. And so when we get back to the dock, I hop out, and Adrian's like, I think you should just double check your phone. And so sure enough, I had missed about 6 or 7 calls. And initially I'm thinking, okay, well, what's wrong? What's happening? I better call this number back. And sure enough, it's the Hockey Hall of Fame calling, an amazing conversation. And then as soon as I walk down the stairs to reconnect with my family, it's my mom and my dad, tears of joy and hugs, and then my kids are jumping on the dock just by the edge of the lake. So it was a pretty amazing scene, but very fitting. Obviously for me, growing up in the Winnipeg, Manitoba area, and then having the chance to go down, and the first people that I can share the news with is my parents. So it was a pretty special moment for sure.
Jen, Hank here. I mean, you achieved so much. Is it possible to pick one moment that stands out as your favorite?
I mean, that is hard. And throughout this entire process, as you know, it's a chance to reflect on your career and the people that you've been surrounded by. I mean, if I did have to pick one moment, it is likely the Olympic Games that took place in Vancouver, Canada. And that was my last Olympics. It was my 4th Olympics as an athlete. And I just think the atmosphere there and how I felt as a player, as an athlete, performing the way that I wanted to in perhaps the biggest moment of our athletic careers, in a gold medal game on home soil. It set a record for viewers that had tuned into a women's hockey game at that point. And then I also feel like people have asked, well, what's your favorite career goal? And I think for me, it wasn't a goal, but it was an assist that I made to Marie-Philippe Poulin, and it ended up being the game winner. And so I just think back to that game. It was fierce and competitive, but I just feel like we still had a little bit of that smile on our faces to know that, you know, everything in our lives had prepared us for this game and this moment. But as you mentioned, it's really hard to pick. But if I had to, that one might be at the very top.
Jen, Biz here. Congrats to you and your family. What a moment. I was just wondering, when you were a young Jen, when you were coming up, who were your biggest hockey influences, specifically on the women's side, that helped pave the way and maybe gave you, made you think that you could eventually find your way in the women's game, playing at the high level that you did?
Yeah, absolutely. And Biz, I do have to think, even though my mom was not a hockey player, she was actually a speed skater, and she had represented Canada at a young age. And so I feel like that was just a huge inspiration for me growing up. And then my brother Jason, who played the sport at an elite level, he was someone I always admired. But in the women's game, I remember going to the Women's World Hockey Championships in '97, and they took place in Kitchener, Ontario, and my parents took me. And I remember being in that environment and feeling more motivated and driven than I ever had before, that I wanted to experience this. And so when I look at players like Geraldine Heaney that sort of paved the way from previous world championships, even when I was starting to try out to earn a spot on the national team, France St. Louis was part of the evaluation process and made that first Olympic team in '98. And she was 39 at the time, and I was 18. And she was so supportive and welcoming. And I think for me, it was some of those key moments. I mean, even I watched Jana Hefford at that '97 World Championships and how well she played at a young age, Cassie Campbell-Pascal, and what she did for the team. So I think there are a lot of players that were incredible to watch, and that I think really fueled my drive to try to be a part of that one day.
Bots and Sace, congratulations. Like everyone said, so well-deserved, long time coming. I think back to when I wrote my Hall of Fame speech there for Michigan State. I was so worried and stressed about leaving people out. And there's a couple people, my parents in particular, that I knew I could not leave out. Who are the 1 or 2 individuals that you know for sure that when you write your speech, you've got to include them in that speech?
Oh, Ace, that's tough because that's the biggest thing for me right now. It's just, I would say it's just been a massive moment of appreciation, and for all of the people that have been a part of the journey for me. I think I have to start with my family that I grew up with, for my mom, my dad, and my brother Jason. I think that's the biggest piece of my journey and my childhood, and there was just encouragement and showing me what was possible. And certainly now as I reflect, I mean, my husband and my kids, I think have brought a new level of happiness and joy to my life. But through it all, I think teammates as well. I mean, that's what I think about when I reflect on the memories at competitions, tournaments, locker room time. I just feel like friends for life. So there's so many people to thank, but I think those are the ones that certainly are the standout moments of reflection and gratitude for me.
Jen, I want to ask a little bit more about your family. Your mom, as you mentioned, speed skater at the Olympics. And I'm wondering, you know, as a kid, were you able to appreciate what a big deal she was? And now your kids, did they know that mom is this big a deal? Or is this sort of the eye-opening moment where they're like, whoa, like Hall of Fame?
Okay, we'll start with my mom. And I think in that environment, sometimes people ask if there was pressure that we had to become elite athletes, but I think as Jason and I grew up, our parents just had a high level of communication with us and encouraged us to believe in ourselves. And so for me to see what my mom was capable of going to an Olympics at 16 years old and then 20 years old, and for me seeing her Team Canada gear and uniform that she wore at the opening ceremonies to the Olympic Games, I think that was just something that I wanted to follow in her footsteps in some capacity. And so that's just something that I feel very fortunate that I had that at a young age. And certainly as I look at my girls and my 3 daughters now, I think that's the part that is perhaps most fulfilling about all of this, and this amazing honor, and the fact that they're now 6, 8, and 10 and will be there and have the chance to celebrate throughout this weekend ahead. And I just love that there are so many choices for girls in sport and in life now. And so as they go through sports and activities, and I know, Liam, you know the same with your kids, that just brings such a sense of happiness and joy. And I love that there's choice for them now. So whether they know the extent of it or not, they have been so excited about this and so supportive. And I think mostly I'm just so happy that there are all kinds of choices ahead for them and any potential dreams that they have in the future. And I know that for Adrian, my husband, and I, we just want to support that. And so we know this will be an amazing experience ahead for the celebration events. And we are so glad that our girls will be there to take part in it and to see all of it. And certainly for me, being a part of this induction class and the other inductees, absolutely incredible careers. And so I'm so happy that the family can all be there.
Well, listen, if your girls are watching this, probably on a phone or a tablet or something, your mom's a big deal, like a really big deal, and you should know that. I think the only disappointing thing is that we're not going to see you play in a Legends game. They're not doing that, but I have to wonder, has this been canceled because you buzzed Henrik Lundqvist in our studio, and they're worried that you're going to damage this beautiful face?
Oh, I've been nervous.
Oh, my goodness.
Face you on a breakaway? What was your move, by the way? I mean, maybe next
The
year.
move?
Yeah, on a breakaway, what would the move be?
It was probably more the fake and then go to the forehand. Less so the between the legs top shelf that I tried in the studio on you the one day, but
I'll keep that in mind if that game comes up down the road.
Yeah.
Don't change it up
Very
on me
nice.
then,
Yeah,
though.
there's still an unpaid invoice from that panel you broke, Jen. So we're looking for
Who
that.
was buzzing the tower?
Jen, you're the best. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Bob.
So well deserved. Enjoy the weekend.
Little clicks for
Couple
Bob.
clicks. Let's go.
thank you so much, you guys. I thank you.